Hey everyone, it is Master Lucas here, and I'm back with another video. Been a long time, hasn't it? But after many matches trying to record a video for you guys, I finally found a video to upload. It's not gonna be a match, this match is gonna play at the background so you can enjoy it, but this is mostly gonna be about talking. I'm gonna talk about the current state of the Dead by Daylight and its community, but also a state of how it feels to play Killer. To basically sum it up, playing Killer is very, very stressful in Dead by Daylight, and most survivor mains, they condemn killers for actually doing their job, and the player base feels so toxic, and I feel like that there are influences out there, Dead by Daylight content creators, who are at fault here. I'm not naming any names, but I'm just gonna say this. The people who are uploading videos on bullying killers or showing bad manners, just blinding them, hitting them, teabagging them, basically insulting them to Kingdom Come, those are the kind of content creators that I believe are ruining the state of Dead by Daylight. Because I feel like as a content creator myself, I have a responsibility to uphold. I don't want to show bad manners or teach them if I do something bad, this is okay to play. No. I don't want to show killers it's okay to be toxic to the survivors. I don't want to show that kind of example to my audience, and that's why I have a problem with content creators like these, because if they're showing it's okay to constantly blind and teabag a killer, people are going to be influenced by that, and they're going to think they're entitled to act that way. They're going to feel oh, this guy's so stupid, he'll just run into my flashlight to blind as he's just walking, not even being stunned or anything. They think that's gonna happen. And they think they can just easily bully the killer because that person did that. And that's the kind of content creators I do not like, and I don't feel should be showing that kind of content. Because it hurts. It hurts the player base, it sets expectations, and when those expectations are denied, those kind of survivors aren't gonna take the loss gracefully, okay? Killers, or just players in general, they get sent death threats, they get called out bad names in the endgame chat, and it can really damage mental health. That's just straight up bullying, and I will not stand for it. The point is, I'm trying to say this. The killer role is a solo role, okay? But killers, what they aren't, are AI in-game bosses, okay? To the survivors mains out there who belittle the killer for actually winning the game, they aren't in-game bosses you can just bully and treat like they're just AI. No, there are people just like you who are just doing their best to try and win a match. I get there are toxic killer mains out there too, but I'm not speaking about them. I'm speaking about the killer mains who are genuinely just trying their hardest to win and using whatever strategies they want. They shouldn't feel condemned for it. I saw a post where Survivor main was complaining about the 2v1 situation where killer slugs for the 4K. And I'm thinking, why are you complaining about it? The killer's just trying to do their role. If they want to slug for the 4K, they can slug for the 4K. Alright, they're just luckily trying to get their 4K, trying to get their cool Mori, and that's fine. I do that too. So why are you complaining about it and saying behavior should do something about it when you already get so much? Let's be honest for a minute, survivors get way more than kills because it's 16 perks against 4. Okay? Any survivor can run Fast Track, Dead Hard, Decisive Strike, and Brand New Part, and can make the game miserable for killer. As a Ghostface main, I really struggle with him, and I often find myself resorting to tunneling and slugging because those are just the viable strategies that give me the best advantage possible and a fighting chance to actually win the game. And I'm thinking let's talk about Hatch for a moment, alright? I think the Hatch being an in-game mechanic, in that of itself, shows the game is survivor-sided. Because a killer doesn't have base kit no-ed. If it's a if 3 people escape and the last person still hasn't left yet, they don't instantly become exposed so the killer can just one-shot them and get that pity win, get that pity kill. No. But survivors get game mechanic where they can escape, where they can deny the killer a 4K. It's not so much about letting one last survivor escape, no. It's rather there's an in-game fact that stops the killer from getting a 4K, but there's no in-game mechanic where killer can stop a survivor from getting a 4-man out. And that just goes to show to me that they are favoring survivors way more than us. But the important thing is that you should listen to both sides of the fan base, because killers right now are really struggling, and they are just as important as survivor mains. Like, you can't, it's not just about the fact that the player base is bigger, it's about the fact that each side is important to make up a game. A killer can't get a match without 4 survivors playing, and 4 survivors cannot get a match without 1 killer playing. Alright? They are both important and should be listened out more, and the clear fact is that behavior is so incompetent that it feels like the only player base being listened to are the soft-hearted survivors who just want the game handed to them. And that's another problem I have with Dead by Daylight, is that the skill ceiling between both sides are so far apart. A killer has to do much more effort than a survivor, because naturally, one survivor can be the worst teammate possible and can still win, because the team is really good and they compensate for their mistakes. But as a killer, you cannot make one mistake. Alright, you're just a solo act, which means you have every mistake you do, every mistake you make, that's all on you. I feel like that's why most people play Survivor and avoid playing Killer, because they know the truth, alright? They know that the Killer is a much more stressful role than it is to play Survivor, and they want to avoid doing that role because they know that they're going to get called bad names in the in-game chat, because that's the things they do, and yet they still won't play Killer, and they'll still do what they do, even though knowing how stressful Killer is, because they want to be blissfully ignorant, and that's just selfish of them. But I don't want to give in to the us versus them mentality. No, I've in fact met many survivors who are really good at the game and even say GG at the endgame chats. Like, I love those survivors. Like, I'm not going to have respect for someone who puts on a DS and that hard to get her, because that's a whole build of second chances. But if a survivor beats me and they like mind game me a window, like they catch me off a window fake, I will respect that. I will acknowledge those as strategies. I acknowledge flashlight saves can also be strategic, because that's just the better strategy. Or body blocking. Not necessarily toxic, it's all about the intent. And here's from my perspective. Survivor mains, as a killer main myself, I see as tunneling, as slugging for the 4K. I see slugging for the 4K, it's just me trying to get my cool Mori. Okay? I'm not trying to ruin your fun experience. I'm just trying to get my cool Mori. And I just want to make this video saying that I want to be a voice for the killers, and I want to stand up for them. And I'm going to say this. Tunneling and slugging are strategies, not toxic positions, and I will want to be a good influence and use my content to be a positive influence on the Dead by Daylight community by speaking to the killers who are trying their best. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you next time.